Welcome back to Beyond Binary, the channel where facts meet clarity and stories meet substance. Today we're diving deep into one of the most talked about political and economic events shaking the United States right now, the U.S. government shutdown. What exactly is a government shutdown? Why does it happen? What are its real effects on people, the economy, and even the world? And what lessons can we learn from past shutdowns to understand what's happening today? Let's break this down. A U.S. government shutdown occurs when Congress fails to pass the necessary funding bills to keep the federal government running. Think of it like this. The U.S. government, just like a massive organization, needs an approved budget every year to pay its employees, maintain operations, and deliver services. But when lawmakers, specifically the House of Representatives and the Senate, cannot agree on how that money should be spent, funding authorization expires. And when that happens, many federal agencies have to halt operations. The doors close, employees are sent home without pay, and essential services go into survival mode. But here's what makes it more complex. This shutdown isn't about the government running out of money. It's about authorization, not the availability of funds. The U.S. Treasury still has money. It just can't legally spend it without Congress's approval. The current shutdown has been triggered by a budget stalemate, a clash between political parties over priorities such as spending cuts, social programs, border security, and foreign aid. Republicans and Democrats have locked horns over what should be funded and what should be trimmed. In simple terms, it's a tug of war between differing visions for America's future. To truly understand the gravity, let's revisit what happened during the last major shutdown, which took place in 2018-2019. That one lasted a record 35 days, making it the longest shutdown in U.S. history. It began over a disagreement about funding for the U.S.-Mexico border wall. While Congress deadlocked, 800,000 federal employees were furloughed or forced to work without pay, national parks closed, airport security lines grew longer, small businesses waiting for federal loans were stuck. Even food safety inspections were delayed. The economic toll? The Congressional Budget Office estimated it cost the U.S. economy $11 billion, with $3 billion permanently lost. Families missed paychecks, mortgage payments piled up, and consumer confidence dipped. The longer a shutdown lasts, the deeper the cracks spread across the system. Now let's return to 2025, where a new shutdown has taken hold. The reasons? A familiar story with modern twists. Lawmakers have once again failed to agree on a funding package, but this time the issues are layered with new complexities. Debates over AI regulation, defense spending, healthcare, and climate programs. The House, led by one party pushing for sharp spending cuts, has refused to pass bills that include the other party's priorities, such as climate initiatives and social safety nets. The Senate, controlled by the opposing party, refuses to sign off on cuts that they believe will harm ordinary citizens and the economy. When neither side budges, the clock runs out. And when the fiscal year ends without a deal, boom, the government shuts down. So, what does this shutdown actually mean for everyday life? First, federal employees are directly hit. Hundreds of thousands of workers across departments like Homeland Security, Transportation, and Interior are either furloughed or required to work without pay, while essential workers like air traffic controllers and military personnel continue their duties. Their paychecks are delayed. Families dependent on government salaries suddenly find themselves struggling to pay bills. Second, government services slow or stop. National parks and museums close their doors. Passports and visa processing face massive delays. Small business loans and housing assistance freeze. In some cases, even disaster relief operations are hampered. Third, economic ripple effects spread fast. With consumer spending down, businesses near federal hubs see less traffic. Wall Street watches nervously as investor confidence wavers. Ratings agencies sometimes warn of potential downgrades in U.S. credit outlook. if the shutdown drags on too long. Fourth, public trust erodes. Citizens watching their leaders bicker over budgets lose faith in government efficiency. Internationally, allies and investors begin questioning America's ability to manage its own fiscal house. But there's another layer: technological and security implications. In today's AI-driven world, federal agencies are deeply involved in cybersecurity, space research, and tech innovation. During a shutdown, many research projects pause. AI ethics boards, data analysis programs, and climate tracking systems may operate on skeleton crews. That delay can slow scientific progress and compromise national security if cyber teams are underfunded or understaffed. Now, not all functions stop. Essential services continue. Military operations, border patrol, air traffic control, and Medicare payments remain active. But even these areas feel the pinch over time. Maintenance backlogs grow, unpaid workers feel the strain, and morale drops. You might ask, why can't the government just agree and move on? The answer lies in political strategy. Shutdowns often become bargaining chips. One party uses them to pressure the other into concessions. But while politicians debate, the real cost is borne by ordinary people. Economists warn that prolonged shutdowns can drag down GDP growth. The 2019 shutdown cut 0.1% off quarterly GDP. In a world still recovering from inflation and global uncertainty, another lengthy freeze could ripple across global markets. Interestingly, not all countries experience shutdowns this way. In many parliamentary systems, failure to pass a budget often leads to snap elections, not halted operations. But in the US, the separation of powers means funding must be approved by both legislative chambers and the president, a system designed for balance but prone to gridlock. What's next? Usually, pressure builds from citizens, markets, and affected agencies. As days pass, the public frustration grows, and lawmakers are forced back to the table. Often, temporary continuing resolutions, short-term funding bills, are passed to reopen the government while debates continue. But these are only stopgaps, not solutions. The deeper question is philosophical. Should basic governance ever be used as a political weapon? Should the functioning of an entire nation hinge on partisan standoffs? Many policy experts argue that the system needs reform, suggesting automatic continuing resolutions that keep funding stable even if agreements aren't reached. Others say shutdowns are a necessary pressure valve, a way to force accountability and fiscal restraint. From a historical perspective, the U.S. has experienced over 20 shutdowns since the modern budgeting process began in 1976. Some lasted a day, others stretched for weeks. Each one left a mark, financially, politically, and emotionally. The current one, like those before it, serves as a reminder that governance isn't just about policy, it's about people. From airport workers to scientists, from veterans to teachers, millions rely on government stability. Every hour the lights stay off, trust dims a little more. In the age of automation, AI, and global interdependence, shutdowns also carry symbolic weight. They signal to the world that even the most advanced nations can stumble over politics. As one economist put it, you can build quantum computers, but if you can't pass a budget, your code still fails. So where do we go from here? The path forward depends on compromise, communication, and courage. For leaders to remember that while politics is a game of strategy, governance is a duty of service. And for citizens, it's a lesson in vigilance, because democracy doesn't break overnight. It cracks through neglect. As we watch this shutdown unfold, it's a moment to reflect on what kind of future we want, a future of endless gridlock or one of pragmatic progress. Because at the heart of every shutdown lies a binary choice, division or unity. Thanks for watching Beyond Binary. where we decode the world's most complex stories with reason and insight. Stay informed, stay engaged, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Together, we'll keep making sense of a world that's never just black and white.